Censorship is now out of control. We need to do something about it. We're going to lose the internet. We're going to lose the ability to link to things. You know, they're going to put a link tax in the EU, etc., but it's going to be worldwide. They're going to basically close the noose. They're getting rid of accounts now, left, right and centre, all the time. They've just got rid of Dan Dick's Press for Truth, who had his Canadian base or whatever, and he's a filmmaker, he's a journalist, and had like 800,000 followers or something, you know? It's just like obscene amounts of people that just lose their followers, lose all that information that they've ever posted and they've ever done. It's just a complete purge of history. And they're quite happy to purge history if it doesn't jive with their agenda, because they're trying to rig the elections. That's why they ban people, they shadow ban people. They've been doing it so they can rig the elections. It's all racketeering. The point is, if we don't call it out now while it's taking incremental steps, we'll never be able to call it out because it will be all the way there. And we won't be able to call it out then. We'll be censored, we'll be silenced. We won't be able to speak to each other. We won't be able to link to each other. We won't be able to post memes. They'll be banned. They mean business this time. Everyone, you know, all the social media companies are in lockstep banning the same people because they got Soros funding. As soon as he took over with the shares, it all fell apart, just like everything does when Soros touches it. He needs to be dealt with, but he's not being dealt with either. He's protected by the media. They just say it's anti-Semitic to criticise him. So what can we do? They say it's a conspiracy theory following the money that he's publicly declared. That's a theory. I mean, the mainstream media really does need dealing with as well. This whole thing all needs dealing with at once. This is what we call the New World Order, and it needs to be torn down. And part of the tearing down process is incremental, but part of it is happening now in America with the black population, etc., with people, you know, getting off the Democrat plantation because they were always told, as Kanye told Trump yesterday, they were always told when they were black that they had to vote Democrat, or they're race traitors or whatever, because they freed them, so they got some sort of, you know, loyalty to the Democrat Party, and they were relying on that. They thought they had them in the bag, basically, but now people are starting to think for themselves, you know, gay people, black people, even Muslims, everyone, you know, people are becoming ex-Muslims. People are starting to think for themselves. Marks and Spencer thought they could get away with selling a burqa for 3-year-olds. People like Majid Nawaz called it out and said, this is unacceptable. It is unacceptable, you know, these instruments, these oppressive garments are thrown on women so that men are not tempted to have sex with them. Why would you need to throw them on a 3-year-old? Why would you legitimise that idea? But they're doing that with Islam. They think it's a legitimate idea. The horrible ideologies within Islam and Sharia, and, you know, it's now being adopted by corporations. And we need to fight back against that as well. How do we fight back against everything at once? How do we fight back against anything without seemingly being violent? I'm not advocating violence. I'm trying to prevent a civil war from happening. It's the mainstream media and the left and the establishment that clearly wants people to riot. It's always this way throughout history. The left, the extremists, the people that hate Jews, the people that segregate, etc. It happened like that with the Nazis, and they were the National Socialists. They were left-wing, and now that's becoming more and more popular knowledge. The extreme left have so much in common with the extreme right, because they are both extreme. They are both extreme radical versions of that ideology. You know, everyone is generally a centrist, whether they're slightly on the right, slightly on the left, or whatever. These radical sides are basically the same as each other. And yet the ones that are getting censored, the ones that are getting bullied, the ones that are getting silenced by social media and having their pages banned and deleted are the centrists, are the reasonable people, are the journalists, are the ones doing the research, not the conspiracy theorists, not the ones who think the earth is flat, not the one who thinks Gaia or Nimrod or whatever, what's it called? Nibiru is going to come, or whatever, this year, or was it last year, or whatever, not the ones that thought the Mayan calendar meant the end of the world. Conspiracy theorists are different to actual conspiracy researchers, the ones researching the corruption, the collusion. They're the ones that are getting silenced. They're the ones that are getting oppressed. They're the ones that are getting shut down. If it was about censorship in general and censoring everyone, it wouldn't be about rigging the election. It's about politics. They're trying to rig the elections. The left behave like a mob. They, you know, bang on doors, smash windows, etc., shout in people's faces, threaten them. And then when we call them a mob, they, you know, act all butthurt and get all upset and say, oh, it's not a mob, blah, blah, blah. They're the ones that encourage violence all the time. Look at what Loretta Lynch and Eric Holder has said recently. Look at what Maxine Waters advocated. She should be punished for that. Look at what Madonna said. They're the left, aren't they? The liberals, the tolerant liberals that are never tolerant of anyone, that got Roseanne shut down because she made a racist comment, allegedly, referencing a fantasy creature to someone from Planet of the Apes. And she doesn't even look black. And as Roseanne said, I thought she was white. I thought the bitch was white. And quite literally, that's what I thought as well when I saw her. Now it seems ABC are worried that The Conners, the spin-off without Roseanne, is going to fail. Oh, well, I could have predicted that. Everyone wants it to fail. I want it to fail. Certainly hope that it doesn't get past the first episode and it has massively terrible ratings, etc., because that's what you deserve. You deserve it. You can't just take away the main star and then expected to carry on as normal. You know, the title role. And it's not even took away for a legitimate reason. It was completely bullied. She was completely bullied and then had all her shows removed. Just like what happened to Milo after there was an accusation. Suddenly he had his book deal removed, etc. You know, accusations seem to be enough now, don't they? Whether they're proven or not is irrelevant. The left love accusations. They love doxing people. They love bullying people. They love getting other people, getting the mob to attack them for them. You know, that's what the morals of the mainstream media is. They advocate everything that's unholy and bad in this world. And that's why we, the humans that are still awake, that realise the mainstream media is the problem, that realise that the government are actually just puppets of the global elite and are subverting our will incrementally, and now it's getting so bad with the censorship, etc., that we need to do something about it overtly, because it's happening more and more overtly. You know, we need to realise that if we don't do it now, we won't be able to later.